In this video, we're going to take a look at the Bigme ePaper smartphone Hibreak Pro. I'm Paul Wilson, and I make videos about e-learning, specifically Adobe Captivate. In this case here, I'm going to be talking about a little bit of technology that has been sent to me by the good folks over at Bigme here. Now, Bigme has sent me a few products to review and take a look at and make videos about. And one of the things that I've discovered in the process of looking at these products is the concept of a digital minimalist, which is someone who intentionally uses technology in a focused and more purposeful way, prioritizing function over distraction. Most of us, of course, use smartphones for entertainment, for staying in touch with friends, for sharing memories and things like that. But the digital minimalist uses it very specific for usually business purposes, but it could be just organizing their daily lives, etc. Here's a clear definition. Digital minimalism is a philosophy of technology use where you strip away non-essential digital clutter and focus only on the tools and apps that directly support your values, goals, or your productivity. The aim is to reduce digital noise, reclaim attention, and foster more meaningful engagement with both work and life. Some of the key characteristics of digital minimalism is intentional tech use. So every app, device, or platform serves a clear purpose. Reducing your screen time. These devices, they avoid mindless scrolling, endless notifications, and digital overload. Focus and clarity. They seek environments and tools that support deep work and mental calm. High signal to noise ratio. So digital minimalists value the quality of content and the tools over novelty and distraction. And disconnection is built in by design. So a digital minimalist and their technology will often schedule screen time and prioritize offline activities like reading, walking, journaling, etc. Now, this particular product here is the Bigme ePaper smartphone known as the Hibreak Pro. And I'll just pull it out of the box here. This is a flagship phone. This is not just a cheap phone with minimal functions. And I think that's the one thing that I've learned about digital minimalism. It's not necessarily an inferior product that's not capable of doing all of these distraction type apps like TikTok or YouTube or whatever. It's a device that really allows you to focus on the work that needs to be done, your productivity, and of course some of it will fall into your personal life as well. So this Bigme Hibreak Pro comes with a case for it here, but I'm going to remove the case just so I can illustrate what type of device this is. Often when you put a case on a smartphone, it reduces the quality here. But you can see, while it is basically a plastic bezel and back here, this is a good quality product. It's got some weight to it. I can definitely feel how, it has some weight to it. And of course, when you turn it on, you get this fantastic screen that is a really fast refresh rate here. So like if I'm setting this up for the first time, let's do that. So I'll select English there in the setup here, agree to the user agreement, and we'll set up with my Wi-Fi network. Now this is a full cell phone. There is a spot on the bottom here where you can insert your SIM card. I'm sure you could probably set it up for an eSIM as well. Let me just put my Wi-Fi password in here for now. Now, most of the Bigme devices, whether it's a smartphone or a tablet, they want you to sign up for their services as well. And there's some really great apps that are included that really take advantage of that digital minimalist approach, where you've got like note-taking apps, you've got book readers, and all sorts of great applications, office applications, and so forth here. But I'm just going to skip that for now. So a couple of things that really stand out with this device. First of all, it's a 2.6 gigahertz octa-core processor. That's a fast processor for this type of device. There's 8 gigabytes of RAM with 256 gigabytes of internal storage. That's a ton for a smartphone. And it's definitely something you'd expect to find only on a premium device. The screen resolution is 824 this way and 1648 this way. So it's very high resolution. One of the things I'll say about this particular device here, and let's see if I can illustrate this for you here. Let's get in nice and close here so you can see it here. If I go to the home screen, that's almost instantaneous. Like, my goodness, that's, one of the things about ePaper screens is that they're notorious for, having this slow refresh rate, and this is quick, this is fast. And, you don't see those ghosting effects that we've seen in other e-readers and stuff like that. If I go into, the app store here, and we just click on a few things here, you can see that screen is updating really quickly. And that's one of I think the performance of this device makes it truly groundbreaking. It's really an exciting device to use. And, besides being a digital minimalist device, I could see this being a really solid backup device. Like, let's say, for example, you were traveling to another country where they might be concerned about the content that you put on your smartphone. You can keep this as your nice, clean smartphone. And that way, you can avoid the scrutiny that you might get going into certain countries. Get rid of the Facebook, get rid of the TikTok and all that stuff, and just focus on this being a productivity tool when you travel for work or business. The battery life on this device is, really excellent. I haven't tested it out fully, but just having it charged up and sitting on my desk for a few days now, it still contains a pretty decent charge. This was charged over a week ago, I think, and I'm still at 62%. It's a 4,500 milliampere hour battery, so really long battery life, and certainly when you travel, that's an important consideration. There are a front-facing and a rear-facing camera on this device as well. The front-facing camera is capable of a 5-megapixel image, and the one on the back, and again, this makes it ideal for travel, in my opinion, is a 20 megapixel camera. So really good. Like, if you're going to a conference in a city that you haven't been to before, during your downtime, you certainly can still use this a little less as a digital minimalist device, but certainly capture some great photos of a new destination you haven't been to before. I'll put a picture up on the screen now so you can see an example of what that 20 megapixels looks like. The device is Android 14, so you have basically almost the most up-to-date version of the operating system, but it's also compatible with Google Play, so you can download all the apps that you use. Again, digital minimalism is the focus of this device. So while you might not put YouTube and TikTok on here or Facebook, you certainly have access to various tools such as the Kindle app or the Kobo app, WhatsApp, for communication and so forth. And if you have office applications you want to install on here as well, that's certainly a possibility as well. A little bit more on the refresh rate of this device. Bigme calls it their triple S or their SSS super refresh, which claims to be 21 frames per second. But again, if you go into any of these apps, it is just almost instantaneous. You don't see the ghosting that you see on other devices. I think it makes a real difference. So many people decide not to look at ePaper solutions because of that delay in loading, because of that slow refresh. But I think this really addresses that well. Now, there's some really great features that lend themselves well as a note-taking device. There are obviously flexible settings for reading. You can adjust your fonts, your spacing, your line spacing, your paragraph spacing. All of that can be controlled here with the built-in apps. There's also the Bigme's X Reader app, which is a really cool piece of technology. It does translation for you, so you can convert from one language to another. There's also a really cool free built-in text-to-speech technology, so you can transform text into natural language using their advanced online TTS feature. This is exclusive for Bigme customers, so if you purchase this phone, you'll have access to that. And of course, with most readers, you also have highlight and annotation features. Of course, the same thing is true here of Bigme. You'll get those kind of capabilities as well. So just to sum things up, of course, we've got a 6.13-inch screen, 824 by 648, 300 pixels per inch, uses a Dimensity 1080 octa-core 2.6 gigahertz processor. It's got 8 gigabytes of RAM, 256 gigabytes of storage. Obviously, the front 5.0 megapixel and the 20 megapixel camera on the rear here. And it supports, of course, fingerprint unlock using the side button here. Has, of course, cold and warm light, depending on what your needs are, time of day, things like that. It supports not only a 4G network compatibility, but 5G as well. And you can also access 2.4 gig Wi-Fi and Bluetooth 5.2. There's support for gyroscopic movement. It's got a built-in microphone, built-in compass. It uses a USB-C type port for charging, making it very compatible with a lot of devices here. And if you provide it with a solid 18 watts, you can do a fast charge with this as well. It's around 180 grams. And of course, as you can see, it's nice and thin. It's fairly light for a larger smartphone. It's quite nice. I like this phone a lot. And this might be my new travel phone.
If you thought this video was helpful, please like and share it with your colleagues. If you need help with Adobe Captivate, hire Paul for one-on-one instruction. Paul's goal is to focus on lessons based on your specific needs. Visit his website at captivateteacher.com. And don't forget to subscribe to his YouTube channel.